Hello there, Mr. President. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. I was getting ready for this day today, and I was thinking back to 12 years ago. I was working in Chicago with a young lady named Bonnie DeShong. We were doing a morning show together, and you walked into a back-to-school rally, and that was actually the beginning of your political career, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I tell you what, Bonnie was terrific. You were terrific, and looking forward to getting back to Chicago.
How you feeling about that big victory last night?
Well, I tell you what, as a South Sider and a White Sox fan, I was surprisingly happy. No, I was. You look at long-suffering Cubs fans, and to see just how overjoyed they were, and it's a high-quality team. I like the players, I like the managers, so good for them. It's a great day for Chicago.
So 8 years in the White House, as we now with about 2 months left, you look back on everything that you accomplished. I know that you wanted to do more, but are you happy with the way things went over the last 8 years?
Well, John, look, you always want to do more, but I could not be prouder of the work we have done. We saved the country from a Great Depression. We stabilized the world financial system. We reformed Wall Street so some of the things that happened, the reckless behavior can't happen again. We provided 20 million people health insurance that didn't have it before, cut the unemployment rate in half. Incomes went up faster than any time since 1968 last year, and poverty fell faster than any time since 1968 last year. We've expanded opportunities for kids. We're working to reform our criminal justice system so it's more fair, reinvigorated the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. So, we've done great work. But I tell you, and the main reason I wanted to call in, John, was just to say all that's at risk if people don't vote in this election.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that when you got a station with some mellow music and everybody's relaxing, you don't want to get people too riled up, but. But please permit me to intrude just for a second and say there is great urgency in people turning out to vote because you have a clear choice. Hillary Clinton wants to maintain and sustain and move forward the work that I've done. Donald Trump wants to erase it. And more than that, you've got somebody who in Hillary Clinton cares about making sure that this country treats everybody fairly and equally. And in Mr. Trump, you got somebody who has shown repeatedly that he does not care about treating people equally. In fact, the opposite. He thinks that he can treat women or minorities or people of different faiths in ways that make them lesser citizens. And so this is not the time to sit out. And all across the country, there's some really significant states that are at risk. We need everybody to turn out. And if you think that the work I did was solid over these last 8 years, then I personally am asking you to go out there, take the time to vote. And if you don't know how to vote or where to vote in your location, then go to iwillvote.com, and it'll tell you how to do it, and it is simple. In a lot of states, there's early voting or mail-in voting, and it is important that everybody's heard, because when everybody participates, this country does well.
Just a couple of days ago, Vice Presidential candidate Governor Weld actually came out and said that Hillary Clinton was a reliable person and an honest person. Do you think more politicians should come out and speak the truth instead of innuendos and rumors?
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice, but look, I have worked with Hillary. She ran against me in an honorable way when we were running for the Democratic nomination, and then after I won, I asked her to work for her. That shows you, asked her to work for me, and that shows you how much I value her integrity and her hard work and her smarts. She was a great Secretary of State for me. She is somebody who is proven, who's steady, who does her homework. I vouch for her. She will be an outstanding president, and she is trustworthy. And some of this stuff that gets stirred up around her is manufactured and is a function of a concerted effort by Republicans to make her look bad. Keep in mind, 2 years ago, she was very popular, and Republicans couldn't say anything bad about her. They were mostly saying it about me. and now that suddenly she's on the brink of making history as the first female president, and now all that venom is directed at her. But I want people to just block out the noise and focus on the fact that she has a track record of doing right by working people, women, minorities, folks with disabilities, championing families and education, and she's got the experience to be commander-in-chief in a way that Donald Trump does not. He is an erratic person, and you can't have the nuclear codes in the hands of somebody who's not steady.
Please.
So, but the bottom line is that all this depends on people participating, and I need everybody who's listening to make sure that they exercise their franchise. Don't give away your power. The one thing that my campaign and my presidency has always been based on has been a faith in the American people doing the right thing. Because I've met people in every state of this country, and we are fundamentally a good people. But when we don't participate, when we sit out, that's when the special interests and the lobbyists have an impact. That's when the extremists have an impact. That's when democracy starts breaking down. So get out there and vote.
I had to convince my mom when you first were running for president that you were a great person, that you were different, that you cared about people, and that's what you just said. And it's the one thing that I've always felt the whole time during your presidency. I think everything that you've done has been done in caring about people and making sure that people are taken care of.
Well, that's my main advice to young people when I talk to them. I said, if you do the right thing, if you focus on being useful and you show kindness to people, you're not always going to get it perfect, and you'll make mistakes. But at the end of the day, you'll feel good about yourself, and I think you'll be able to look back and say that you made a difference. And that's true whether you're young or whether you're old, whether you're in a humble position or whether you're in an elevated position. And I've tried to be consistent to that. But,
yes,
John, I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you giving me this forum for your listeners who are, looking to hear some music. I'm sorry for the delay, but I would ask you as a public service to go out there and vote because we need you. And to the extent that anybody who's listening thinks that I've done a good job or Michelle's done a good job in our work in the White House, we're not on the ballot, but our all the things we care about are on the ballot, and we need you to support us at this moment.
Well, we think you've done a great job there. So continued success to you. And what's that golf handicap?
It's not as low as it's going to be in about 4 months.
All right.
All right.
Enjoy your life. Thanks much for your time, and I appreciate you tonight. Thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Right. There you have it. President Obama called into Love and R&B with John Monds. This is the man right here.